Warning, the views and beliefs in the following program does not reflect the views of Boom Broadcasting. We give full creative control to our creators and do not believe in cancel culture. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Nightcap. You know the vibes. A wise man once said, "Ain't no stopping me now." Viewer discretion is advised.
Live from the MOWM studio, Boom Broadcasting presents The Nightcap. And your host of The Nightcap, mouthing off with Mike.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Nightcap on Boom Broadcasting, hosted by me, mouthing off with Mike. And ladies and gentlemen, tonight is a special treat for all of you because if you tuned into last night's Nightcap, if you've tuned into Four Sides of the Ring, if you've tuned into any of Mouthing Off with Mike, you've been hearing me talk about this thing called 3-Count Trivia. 3-Count Trivia. There's a tournament to crown trivia wrestling champions hosted by one man, and that man is the man that likes to make them say, "Oh, damn." That's Nitram, host of 3-Count Trivia. What's going on tonight, good brother? How you feeling?
What is going on, brother? You know, you get the best introductions out of everybody that we know. You get the best introductions. I always smile when you start introducing me. I was like, yeah, hype me up.
I take pride. I take pride in my introductions here on the Nightcap, and I much love to the host here of 3-Count Trivia. No, I'm not trying to get brownie points to make sure I get easy questions in the next round. But it's great to have you. It's been a minute since you and I have done the Nightcap, since you and I have chopped it up about professional wrestling. Kind of before we get into everything tonight with AEW, how have you been enjoying, since the last time I saw you, pro wrestling?
Man, I'll tell you what. Last time we talked, I was telling you I was doing my 10 weeks of NXT. Full-on NXT fan. That's official. Full-on NXT fan now.
We did it.
I prefer overall. Still SmackDown, NXT, Raw for me right now when it comes to WWE products. But AEW is always my favorite to go to watching. And I recently got back into watching my indie wrestling, so real happy about that because I was slacking on indie wrestling for a second. I
love it, dude. I love it. So let's pose the question. We were talking a little bit before we went live, as good co-hosts do and good friends do. And I posed the question to the man that makes him say, "Oh damn," and he might make you all say, "Oh damn" tonight because he's a notable NXT. Well, he was a notable NXT not watcher. I wouldn't say hater. You are in fact, one of Trick Williams' biggest adversaries. We may have to get you guys booked, for a match. But then again, we'll get there. But tonight we saw the 5-year anniversary of AEW Dynamite. Last night we saw the debut of NXT on the CW. And I will say through and through, the guy, the man whose hoodie you're wearing tonight, Brandon, said that last night's NXT on the Nightcap, that debut episode, was not a very memorable episode for this big debut on the CW. So I'm going to ask you, kind of piggybacking off that, do you feel that tonight's 5-year celebration of Dynamite was a more memorable show than last night's NXT debut on CW?
100%. 100% way more memorable. And it's like watching it, they were showing clips tonight about like old stuff. And I was sitting up like, oh man, I remember that. And then there was specifically the Jon Moxley debut. And I was like, that was like the first episode. And the commentary was like, that is our very first episode. And I was like, I remember that like yesterday. So I understand when they talk about like these shows need to be rememberable. I get that. And I understand the NXT thing fell flat, but I think they just shot themselves in the foot. They overdid it. And that was the issue. Too much star power on it. They overdid it. It didn't feel like NXT. And for me, that's why it didn't work.
Interesting. That right there is a very good thought. They did too much to NXT where they removed the heart and soul of what NXT is to us and to the viewers who watch it. Whereas tonight, AEW show, I agree. AEW through and through tonight was a way better show than last night. That I didn't even think about it like that. See, that's why I'm saying, oh damn, oh damn, oh damn for real. And you mentioned here, they were showing these moments throughout Dynamite tonight, throughout the 5 years from the first episode, to one of the most recent episodes we saw. So let's talk a little bit about history here. 5 years of a professional wrestling company who, at this point, Nitram, I think it's safe to say they're going to outlive WCW. They signed the media deal today, so finally, I hope people will stop talking about this. But what was your favorite moments from AEW in the first 5 years?
Believe it or not, man, one of my favorite moments goes down to just the first title reign of Chris Jericho. That whole first reign, because it defined what AEW was going to be. And people were like hating on it. They were like, oh, it's Jericho. He's entertainment. But it was the fact that they got all these other wrestlers to go against them that weren't that sports entertainment. It was defining what we were able to look forward to in the future. And it was so great. He doesn't get enough credit for it. I really do say. Earlier, I know we'll probably talk about it later, but earlier tonight, he was like, y'all can thank me for that. He was kind of right. But that being said, they wouldn't show a clip of my favorite moment from AEW because it involves CM Punk. And that's the promo he had with Eddie Kingston, the whole, I'm going to tell you something that they don't want you to know. And then they just kept going, and it was simply, fight me, fight me. That moment lives so rent-free in my head. I think it's one of the best promo works I've ever seen from two competitors. Like, those two were just, it was something magical when they were doing at it. And I feel like maybe because it was real. Maybe it was real heat. I don't know.
Maybe. Blurred the lines.
Right. But it was just, to me, that's like the best moment of AEW for some reason. It was just, and it's Eddie Kingston, man. Eddie Kingston just doing the fight me. Fight me. Fight me. Yeah, like that's
I forgot about that. I forgot about that because they, like obviously 5 years of wrestling, that's a lot to, kind of encapsulate, in one TV show. But man, I will say I really enjoyed when the Exalted One, Brody Lee, won the TNT championship. I thought that was an incredible moment. I know, the pandemic and everything really, but I'll be honest. And one of my favorite moments was AEW wrestling during the pandemic. They were way more entertaining. They used the facility better. They used the lack of crowd better than I would say WWE in the early beginning. And there was a lot of good, like the Jericho, obviously they brought it back up, right? Full circle. Jericho and Orange Cassidy with the orange juice coming down from the ceiling. Matt Hardy debuting through the crowd with
and the drone.
And the drone, dude. Things that you couldn't do, with a crowd. 100%, dude. There has been so many awesome moments. And if you're in the comments, Logan said his favorite moment is Danielson's debuts. 100%.
That was great because they executed it so perfectly with bringing Adam Cole first. And yeah, see, AEW does things really good. The CM Punk comeback, you know what I mean? That was a great moment. I remember rushing home to watch that episode because I was like, he's gonna be there. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I was at SmackDown that night. He returned on that Rampage episode. And I literally was watching it on my phone, and every person behind me in the sections, like directly behind me, were hunched over my shoulders watching his debut while we're watching the dark match of SmackDown. So 100%, dude. Adam Cole's debut, Bryan Danielson, they were the best wrestling throughout the pandemic, Dommy Feds. 100%. He said MJF and Punk for him. Oh, absolutely.
But probably the best feud. You know what I mean? Like,
probably.
It's about how you break things down. It's like, what's the best of this and this? No, I mean, because to me,
Miro was awesome. Your boys at Four Sides. Is this the founder tonight? Is this the channel? What do we got on the account? We'll never know. It's a mystery.
I know Brandy's up. I know he's up. I don't know what he's doing. I know he's up though.
He's up and he wants to smoke. I don't know what I'm saying. Oh man, I had a great thought. Oh, while we're talking about MJF and Punk, another great hidden gem from 5 years of Dynamite is the MJF promo. Tony, fire me, you fucking Mark. Right? Oh,
the good old type, man.
Oh, that was. Oh, that you want to talk about something that lives rent free in my mind? That right there. Always the founder. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. We have confirmation. The founder is in the building here. Knit Ram's real life tag team partner. I love it,
So,
man.
so it gives me a chair shot to the back. You know what I mean?
Until he hits you. Till we find out you guys are more like Undertaker and Kane and not the Hardys. AEW International Championship match. It ran the dream match of that we've been wanting for years. Will Ospreay going up against Ricochet. Talk to me. What do we feel about this one?
First thing I'm going to bring up, the presentation was great. You had Ricochet come out first. You had Ospreay come out. But then commentary just doing their job. Will Ospreay is 1 over or 4 over on Ricochet. And like they were breaking down the history, because if you only know Ricochet from WWE, I'm just going to say you probably only know Ricochet from WWE. You know what I mean?
Valid point.
So you probably don't know who Prince Puma is. You don't know, like his previous works, which is fine. I'm not saying you have to, which is fine. But they broke that down where you can catch up 30 seconds. And, people are talking about, oh, was it the best move for Ricochet to do all that? If this is the match that he wanted to do, then yeah, it was, because this match was awesome. You know what I mean? This match was awesome.
Yeah.
And it left me wanting more. The first finish was a great call, because I sat there and I was like, that's so smart. It protects both people. And I'm watching this with my father, who's not a wrestling fan, but he was really into this. And he was like, so what happens? And I was like, well, they're probably going to ask for more time. They won't get it, and it'll go to. They got the more time. And they just kept going. And then they still found a way to protect both people with Kanesha coming out. And that's the best part, because it still makes you want more. But at the same time, I want more, I want more Takeshita out there too.
Yeah.
So like that, everything worked. The match killed. Ricochet looked great. Ospreay's one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world. And Takeshita looks like a threat. That man looked like a threat. I don't know, man. He looks more swole every week. Like... He's a big dude, and I'm excited for him. I hope he is the one that beats Ospreay. I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there.
Me too. I think so. Let's talk about that.
All right.
I'm watching this match, and I'm like, I see the funky, like I'm looking at everything, the way the pace of the match is going. And I'm like, all right, they're gonna go time limit draw. I'm literally looking at my phone. I'm looking at the time, looking at my watch. I'm like, all right, let's see. We had this much for that segment, but I was like, all right, they're gonna go to a time limit draw. They're gonna do the classic, and then they do the double pin. And I'm like, okay, different. I was like, both guys are protected like you thought. And then they asked for more time. And I was like, oh, whoa. I didn't see this coming. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, we might see something crazy tonight. And then we saw it. Takeshita finally, I guess, has solidified the heel turn.
Mm-hmm.
Turning on Ospreay, which is what we needed. And I agree. Takeshita should be the one to beat Ospreay. That's it. It should be. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like you said, the guy looks incredible, right? He's got the physique, whatever promo here, neither here nor there. This is the wrestling company. He should be the one to do it. I agree. That's the way you get Will Ospreay back into the fold of the world title picture. You have to.
Right. Because I mean, like I said, man, and then like I said, like everyone's like, oh, the Ospreay. Like I seen some people on Twitter were like, Ospreay and Ricochet should have had a finish and all this. It doesn't need it right now. Everyone was complaining this match was rushed too early, and now they're complaining it didn't have a finish. Just let it cook.
You can't be people pleaser, right? And you can't please everybody. There's going to be fan base that's like, well, Ricochet should have won. Okay. And then there's going to be people saying, well, Will should have won. And then there's going to be people saying, well, why did they do a screwy finish? Listen, we wanted the match. This is the appetizer, right? We know how Tony Khan does this. Sets of threes, baby. We saw the third installment of Okada and Danielson in the main event. There's going to be another match between these two, and then there'll probably be a third match because Takeshita or whatever happens with that. Maybe it's a triple threat in the final.
Someone still has to burn down a house. There's a bunch of stuff.
Exactly. Someone's got to inject someone with a needle.
Right.
Put a t-shirt in a baby crib. I don't know. Where's Chano tonight? Chano, what was in the needle? Chano, we still don't know. We've talked about it for weeks now. Brandy Savage is awake. What's up, Brandy Savage? Aw, damn, Brandy. Brandy, you gotta let me know if you're free at all here for one of these days. We still got some nightcaps left on the week. Yeah, this is a perfect opener for the 5-year anniversary. This is a match you'll remember. Mm-hmm. This is a match you'll remember. Where were you when they finally locked it up after what? 10? No, 9? 10 years? 10 years? 12 years? Dragon Gate days, right?
12.
12.
It's
So
more
there
than
you
10
go.
because he was in WWE for almost
He was
10
in WWE from what, 15 or
to now.
16
To
to
like
now.
now, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. So dang. All right. I'm here for it. You talked a little bit about Chris Jericho, really putting them on the map with that title run here.
That's my
And
goal.
tonight it was TV time with the Learning Tree, ladies and gentlemen. Hi guys, we're live. We're live on Boom Broadcasting. Make sure you subscribe and like if you like the content. Make sure you go subscribe to Four Sides of the Ring so you don't miss 3-count trivia. All right, bye guys. All right, Knit Ram, what's going on here tonight? Talk to me about the Learning Tree, the destination. The journey is the destination with the redwood and his lovely quotes. And Chris Jericho being an absolute dickhead and invoking the name of Jay Briscoe to Mark Briscoe tonight.
Oh man, the Chris Jericho is a man of many characters, and he kills it every time. People hate it. People can say what they want. This Learning Tree was never going to make it. It is awesome. It's working. Okay. I love Chris Jericho. That's my GOAT. I say it all the time. That is my GOAT. And it's great because at first I was sitting there and I was listening to this, I was watching. I was like, when he said, I'm going to be, forget the Ocho, Nueve, I was like, oh, I was like, fire. I was like, okay, what champion? And I'm gonna sound so hypocritical because I hate the fact that the Ring of Honor belt gets so much love on AEW. Like
Me too.
It has
Me
its
too.
own
It should
show.
not. It should. It,
When he called out Mark Briscoe, Mark came out, and I was like, oh, they're gonna give Mark a mic. I hate when Mark has a mic.
I love it. He's also for me hilarious. He can say whatever he wants. I'll let him talk.
He went out there and said, I'm a jumper and mess you them I got y'all me and my boys then he did the Mark Briscoe. But when Jericho sat there and said, he said, when I beat you, and Jericho said, whoa, you beat me. I think you're a little delusional. The only person that probably could have beat me would have been Jay. Oh, dude, I sat there and I said, this guy is the motherfucking GOAT. Because man,
I cringed, dude. I was like, oh.
And like that's not even the worst thing that people have said about dead relatives on shows. Like Christian Cage was for like 6 months was just bashing people with dead dads.
And your father is dead.
MJF said he was going to talk to Brian Pillman and look down to the ground. They called Brian Pillman Jr.'s mom Methany. Like it's not even the worst thing it was just so great because we know how close the Briscoes were.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but I think everyone kind of says Jay was the better Briscoe. It was always kind of known. He was world champion when they were a tag team. Not taking anything away from Mark, but when they were a tag team, he was the world champion. There's always a Matt or Jeff Hardy. There's always that extra person that someone loved more. Jay was that guy. So I feel like bringing that up kind of just tells Mark, like I'm not him.
Yeah.
But like I'm trying to be me, but people still don't see me. And that's how I took it. Like, so when he was like, you're not gonna keep my brother's name out your mouth, didn't I accept the match? I was like,
fuck it out.
I was like, I sat there and I was like, dang, they really got me excited for a Ring of Honor match.
They did. I'm very excited for a Chris Jericho, Mark Briscoe Ring of Honor World Championship match. Love that shot Briscoe got in on Jericho too. And I love Jericho on the ground telling the Redwood and Brian Keith, no, stay. Let him get it in, which is such good. Yeah, I deserve that. Let him get it. I went there. I crossed that line. Listen, you know me. I'm not a Mike, the Prez Mike Boom Broadcasting calls me a hater because I was talking a lot of shit about the Learning Tree. And I, much like what happened when they did the footage of the CM Punk Jack Perry thing, I jumped the gun on it. I was wrong. I'll be wrong again. I was like, oh, Jericho, like, I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to get under our skins. And you're like, see, that's the whole point. Like, you don't like me. I'm doing my job. Ha, ha, ha. And then I started kind of taking a little bit, kind of taking my brain, turning it off a little bit and just watching and listening and seeing his mannerisms. And I was like, yeah, he did it again. He found another way to reinvent it. He did it. He did it again.
Don't miss.
He did it with the Lionheart. He did it with
El Champion.
Like he did it. He does it. He continuously does it. A little bit of the bubbly, like shout out to him,
Ocho.
man.
You know
The
what I mean? Like,
Ocho, soon to be the Nuevo. Like, you know, listen, I got to give credit where credit is due.
he's the
You
GOAT.
know, hey, you won me over. I think it was just all you, especially. Just keep saying it, and Mike kept saying it, and I'm hearing both of you guys in my head, and I'm like, fuck, they're right. All right, I'll open my mind a little bit to it. But yeah, was that next week on Title Tuesday?
I think it is. I think it's next week on Title
Which
Tuesday.
for
If they don't
shit,
open, they should main event.
that's a bold take. You think? Whoa. Hey, I mean, let's see because you got NXT next week on the CW, which I'm pretty sure half of us can't even watch. Like they don't have an app like USA and Fox and TBS and TNT, so that's lame for me, honestly. So I think Dynamite's gonna pull a good number going head to head with NXT next week.
I hope so, man. They because they're just gonna take shots.
100%. Both companies. I mean, that's what makes wrestling fun. How many Monday Night Wars documentaries did we watch and listen to about it? The shots. CW has an app, but you can't watch NXT live.
Yep. I seen all the complaints on Twitter when I was happening.
I literally
while
could
I was
not
in the middle
log
of my
into my
matches.
cable provider and watch it live. So it was, look, I don't have traditional cable. I have cable, but I couldn't log into the app. That's how I watch shows. Like I'm on the USA Network app. I'm on the Fox app.
You sound like one of those like bad like Spectrum commercials where they're like I don't have cable. I have cable. You know what I mean? Like, and then they're like, with Spectrum, you could have all these channels. And he's like, oh man,
dude, I'm over here yesterday trying to get a trial for fucking Fubo TV, and I get the trial and everything. Listen, hear me out. This is a sidebar. This is what happens here. I start talking, and hear me out. I got screwed. I could watch the East Coast streams with USA and everything. Now because Fubo, I'm on the West Coast, they said, we got your ass with the location. You got to watch it on your time, not their time. So that's fake. That's fake. So that subscription, that free trial has been canceled. It has been deleted. Tommy Fett said, same for him. Maybe listen, if I keep bitching and complaining on the timeline and tagging the CW and stuff like I have been, you might be able to say Mike mouthing off with Mike will have a legacy, and my legacy will be I bullied a network into creating a live TV streaming app just for us, just for the people. This is why you need a VPN sponsorship. Hear me out, NordVPN. If you're watching, I hope you're not hacking me, but if you're watching, throw me a little subscription. I'll do a little affiliate link. You know what I'm saying? We're going back to Ricochet. He said they said 2017 during the match. Was the last time they wrestled, or was the last time?
I thought he was in WWE.
He was in WWE.
Yeah.
I thought he was for sure in WWE. That NXT run was crazy. He had. Logan said his greatest wrestler is Will Ospreay, and his favorite moment is Mina Shirakawa. Its debut in AEW. He was surprised. I mean, guy's a big Japanese women's wrestling fan. I love it. I respect it.
They do debuts great. They really
do. Sean Lucas, shout out to Sean, host of Wrestling and Destiny on Boom. He said Spectrum sucks for TV. I mean, listen, you don't got to deal with Cox. Cox sucks. Pun intended on that one. Let's talk about it here, folks. Martin Nitram, Darby Allin has an open challenge for Wrestle Dream. Who's going to answer the open challenge?
So hard to say, right? Because I'm not gonna lie, when I first said it, I said, "Oh, I think Jay White just got cleared," and that was my first intentions. But now I'm thinking they got a debut, and if they got a debut, and Darby's going in this area of where he's constantly losing, and he's trying to, he feels broken, and I like the direction that they seem to be pushing him in right now. MVP got a couple of associates, it sounds like, and if you wanted to debut somebody who can make a skinny, scrawny kid look really weak, the guy who does the Hurt Lock would look amazing, is all I'm saying.
Just saying.
Almighty.
I thought it as I'm asking you the question in my head. I go, Lashley debut? Question mark. MVP comes out to the ring and goes, Darby, I got you. Don't worry. You want a challenge? I've got one for you. And then Lashley, here he comes. While we're on the subject here, Ain't no stopping him now.
The
Shelton
president-
Benjamin is all elite, brother. And he's the head of the complaints department. So good luck, I guess, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of complaints coming his way.
Oh man, did you hear the pop though? That's the best part.
Very good pop.
I
Very
wish
good pop.
I wish I was recording in my living room because me and Brandon were just like, oh shit. Like we were really and I don't know what it is because we all expected this, I think, right? Like as soon as we saw MVP, we're like, oh, they're gonna get all of them. But I don't know why I thought Shelton would be last for some reason. Like obviously Bobby's the final reveal, but him coming out still just like woke something up in me that was so happy to see him. Like Shelton Benjamin is honestly one of the most underrated workers to ever step foot in the ring, to ever lace boots. He only gets appraised by actual wrestlers who will sit there and tell you like in bell to bell, this guy's amazing. But like as far as fan base goes, no one ever brings him up. No one's ever gonna say, "Give me your top 10." No one ever has a Shelton Benjamin in it. And I mean, I say that like if I off the top of my head would put him in it, I probably wouldn't. But when I sit down and really think about it, the man, he's something incredible. And I'm so excited because he's someone that's older. You know, I'm not gonna say he's like super old, but he's older. And you put him in the ring with these younger guys who want to try stuff and do stuff that he can do. He's gonna let them do it, and I love that for that kind of person. You know what I mean? And man, he's with MVP. You know, we're getting Bobby.
Yeah,
the Hurt Business is one of the best factions that never happened. I mean, it happened obviously, but
it happened. But
it's like the Nexus. It's one of the best things that should have been but didn't. And it's just
good comp.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just drop the ball. You know what I mean? And I'm sure MVP is one of those creative minds. I'm glad he's on this roster because he has a creative mind for the business. He's a great mind for that. Shouts out to Prince Nana telling everybody that he used to wrestle and he can lace up his boots because I popped. I really thought we were getting manager for manager. Winner gets.
I thought we were.
I was like, oh, winner gets Swerve Strickland. I was like, this is
custody of Swerve Strickland on a pole match. Let's go. We're doing it.
This is Rhea and Dom, but just all men.
Swerve in a shark cage. Oh my god! I feel like poor Swerve's got to go to therapy after the first, being in the steel cage. I don't know if he can handle the shark cage. No, dude, I thought Prince Nana was laced. I thought we were getting Nana versus MVP. I was like, okay, yeah. I'm here for it, dude.
I was excited.
Yeah. And then here we go. The head of the complaints department, Shelton Benjamin, hilarious though. His face with the, I was cracking up, dude. The pop was incredible. I agree to everything you said. I actually said it last week when MVP debuted. I was like, not only is it great to have him on the air, on camera, that on character camera, and that persona, but backstage, like you said, he's such a creative mind. He's got almost 3 decades of wrestling experience. He's been through almost every era. He was in New Japan. He's a former IWGP Intercontinental Champion, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm pretty sure he was the first African American Black Intercontinental Champion in New Japan, right?
I gotta fact check that.
Someone will fact check me. I'm sure they will. Shelton is so underrated. I know him and Brock are boys, but Brock always puts him over as a top star. Yeah, dude. Another guy. He was a wrestler himself, college heat wrestler with Brock Lesnar in Minnesota. Part of Team Angle, man. I love Shelton Benjamin. I agree. He's one of those guys where when someone's like, "Give me your top 10," and you're like, and you forget about him, but he makes talent look great. I think about the most iconic Shelton Benjamin moment. The super kick, Shawn Michaels super kick. He made that super kick. If it wasn't for him selling that on the other end, I don't think it looks as good if it's someone else.
For me, it's that, and it's the running up the ladder on the
ladder,
Money in the Bank. Yeah.
Yes. And for me, I'll always near and dear to my heart that theme song. Ain't no stopping me. Nah. Oh my god.
And the 6 months he did with his either real or staged mama. I don't know. I don't even know if that was his real mama or not.
It was dark times there.
Hey, you know what? That lives rent free up here, so it worked. I always think of Shelton Benjamin and his mama and Big Show giving her a heart attack. I think about it all the time.
Oh my god, what a storyline! Welcome to AEW, Shelton Benjamin. I wonder if he's gonna dye his hair gold. Gold of All Elite, the gold standard. Shelton Benjamin back.
Oh man, and then just tag with Okada. I'm with it.
Oh, now let me ask you a question. I was kind of spitballing last week. Now, when we talk about this Hurt business, I think the business card said the Hurt Syndicate. So let's just Syndicate. So the Hurt Syndicate. We know Shelton Benjamin. we're more than likely expecting Lashley. Swerve, maybe? Do you think Swerve and Nana can join? No, you don't think so. You think Swerve stays loyal to Nana?
Yeah. When I think of it, I think of
He's just gonna put a little gold paint on the top, dude. Don't worry.
When I think of it, I think of who's a top talent that has trouble talking, and I instantly just said, "Oh, it's Ricochet." And I mean, I'm not trying to bash on him. He's just not a good promo.
It's true.
He comes off kind of hard to believe when he tries to act tough. Me and Marcus actually went into detail on that on our episode last Thursday, and I was just saying it's almost like when he speaks, he doesn't have a character, so he doesn't know how to speak. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things, and I think you put him in that Hurt Business to fill in that Cedric Alexander high flying, I'm that guy role. I like it, but if not him, I honestly. But you can't split them up. I would have said the guys from Private Party. I would have said Isaiah Cassidy, but I don't want to split them up because old boy just came back. So
they gotta win the tag titles from the Young Bucks. We need a full circle. That has to full circle. So I like that shout of Ricochet. I think that's a good one. For me, I said Hobbs last week. I mean, but I don't know if you can have two powerhouses.
I don't like Hobbs. I don't like Hobbs. I mean, he couldn't pick up Big Show. He can't be in that group, bro.
That's fair. I thought Hobbs because I figured like same kind of principle. He's a powerhouse. You get Lashley as a powerhouse. You've got Benjamin to do the high flying. And then you could even because I mean the Book of Hobbs story thing was okay, but I think that's another guy that kind of falls in line with Ricochet where he's got the look, he can go in the ring, but like the promos kind of fall flat a little bit, like unbelievable, so to speak.
Right. Yeah,
Logan likes Ricochet.
I stopped believing in Hobbs when he told me he was going to slam Big Show, and then he didn't. He couldn't do it, man. Just struggled.
Yeah, that was tough. Forsyth said, "Good shout on Bobby, but Kenny has been training again. Kenny Darby, I think you got to bring Kenny back on a Wrestle Dream. I don't know about that one.
Do you want to know if Kenny comes back? I really think it has to be against Okada anyhow.
It would have to. I mean, that or, yeah, I mean, him.
That or Bryan Danielson. Yeah,
Hangman.
I would love a Hangman. I love everything Hangman's doing.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Brandy said he popped because these guys with extra say and creative will make the Hurt Business successful. 100%. Absolutely. That was a big problem. And,
And one thing I give to Tony Khan that I don't think a lot of people give him credit for is that Tony Khan, obviously he's a fan also as far as being the owner, but he treats these legends with the respect they deserve, man.
Yes, he does.
He gives them that proper presentation. This guy's been in the business this long, and he deserves this kind of praise. And I love that about it. Like, that's one thing I do love about AEW. The legends presentation is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, right off the top of my head, Sting. Sting.
Dustin Rhodes.
Dustin Rhodes.
Jeff Jarrett's another one. Chris Jericho. I mean? Like,
Jericho.
It's just these guys. Jay Lethal's another one. I think he gets presented really well, even if he doesn't win. It's just presenting them in a certain way. So I'm really happy that Shelton's there.
Podcast Smitty said he's looking forward to Shelton Benjamin going all elite. This will be interesting. I agree. The founder said he thinks Benjamin gets left out of the top 10 conversation because we're always talking GOAT. But when it comes to in-ring work ethic, he's definitely top 10. I 100%. I think you're right, founder. I think you got a point on that one. And Kenny comes back straight now, Hangman. Yeah, I think that's the obvious. That's where you got to go. And that is a perfect segue into Hangman Adam Page versus the Stray Bullet, Juice Robinson. Take it away, Nitram, please.
This was my match of the night. I don't care how good everything else was. This match was even clunky. This match was hilarious, and everyone looked great. Hangman looked like a threat when he attacked Juice at the entrance. Juice fought back, but when it just went to another level. When they went in the crowd, they were fighting, and Juice was literally just going to fans. He's like, "You want that?" Threw the drink at him. Then he goes down the steps and tells the girl with the popcorn, he's like, "You want that?" And he takes it, and then he has it in his beard. He starts eating it. He gets in that ring, and the bell rings, and the first thing he says is, "I'm gonna hang the hangman." And I just broke out laughing. It was the best thing. then they actually have a good match because these guys can go. They can
Yeah.
wrestle. You know what I'm saying? It was great. And then like they get to that stance where they start throwing punches back and forth. And he's like, Juice just goes randomly. He's like, that's right, whooping ass every 5 years. It's like, what? Juice is a gift.
The juice is loose, bro.
And I was texting the guys in the group chat, and I said, before the match even started, I said, Juice getting squashed for a Jay White return would be really good. This was even better than what I thought. Juice didn't even have to get squashed. They looked great. And then when Hangman started hanging them and the Jay White music hit, and I was like, yes! Like, oh, man. This match of the night, hands down.
Oh, from an entertaining aspect, 100%. Like, this was fun. This was a good match. Like you said, it made Hangman look like an absolute menace. It made Juice look like the stray bullet that he is. Forsyth said the honeycomb man is in his goods. Wouldn't mind if Juice was the guy to dethrone Jack Perry. I'm right there with you. I wouldn't be mad at Shibata, which they've been hinting at. I'd be cool with Shibata to get that. You know who I feel like someone on the show may have said it in the past, and I'm sorry if I'm stealing your thing, but I get big Donnie Thornberry energy from Juice Robinson. You guys, the Wild Thornberries, with a little deep cut. Yes, sir, dude. Every time, bro. Every time. Nah, this was fun. The Switchblade is back. He's got his sights set on Hangman Adam Page tonight, saving his boy Juice, like you said. To be honest with you, I forgot about him. Not in like a bad way. I just forgot that he was hurt and I didn't know what his status was. So this was a true shock for me tonight. I was happy to see him.
Yeah, I was real happy to see him, man. Like, he's one of those wrestlers too, like, that I know people were upset with. They were like, oh, his booking is so bad and the MJF match was questionable. But man, he's just so dang good. And I know they know that. So it's just like they're not worried about it. Juice isn't worried about it. He knows Juice is a world champion. Maybe not the next one, maybe the one after that. But he's a world champion. And he knows that. And I'm so excited that he's healthy. He's going to have a great feud with Hangman. And he's going to lose. I don't care. He's going to lose. Hangman,
yeah, maybe, probably.
Hangman still thinks he's a babyface. And to me, that's the best character development so far. He refuses to go through that heel tunnel. It's the best thing he's doing. He's a drunk again. He has no friends with the Dark Order. And everything's going great. He's going to lose this feud somehow, some way. Hangman right now just needs to keep going. But it just brings him back into the picture. Whether you put him against Nakata, whether you put him against Jack Perry, whether you put him, God, they got so many champions. You put him against Bryan Danielson. You put him against, I don't know, Mark Briscoe. He's always
enough
on
sauce, enough juice.
Just remind us how good he is, and Hangman's the guy that's going to remind us.
Absolutely, dude. That Switchblade, the Hangman, that's right there. The nicknames alone. That's marquee match. That's marquee light stuff. Logan said his match of the night was Okada and Danielson. I see why.
Nobody hung the Hangman in that match.
No one hung anybody.
You don't know how many times how hard I was laughing when he just looked at the camera. I'm gonna hang the Hangman.
Nah, because what's crazy is I talked about on the post show for Full Gear. I was like, Swerve hung the Hangman. So I mean, maybe he heard a little something. Forsyth said, the founder said he's Donnie's character, but Briscoe got Donnie's talking ability. All right. Oh shit. I'm getting cooked. Someone's cooking me for that one. Britt Baker versus Serena Deeb. This was a match that happened tonight.
Yeah, so this is my thing here, okay? And I texted you this immediately. How does Britt not have a pop in Pittsburgh anymore? Because her Pittsburgh pop was like MJF and, like Long Island. Yeah, like it was almost incredible. Like, what happened to Britt that even Pittsburgh's like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, she with us. Like, kind of look away.
She even had the terrible towel blanket around her, and that didn't even add, look, Tortellini said this last night from Black Masks and Constellations. When we talk about, like, women's matches not, living up to the hype or not being good, we're not talking about it in the sense of, like, we hate women. You know, or
Right.
we don't want women's wrestling. We want women's wrestling. You've heard me
Be
say on
better.
the show numerous times, I want 3 women's matches on a Dynamite. I want to see more women. And then we got more women tonight. Queen Aminata makes a save for Britt Baker. Willow and Mariah are kind of feuding now, it looks like, which is a great choice. That's a great feud. But yeah, even poor Britt Baker in Pittsburgh with the terrible towel didn't get the pop that she used to, man. I don't know what she's gonna have to do. She got to get back to the lab.
She needs to go like full heel or something, because if she's not gonna get cheered, she needs to start getting booed. You know what I mean? It's just, and you know, Serena Deeb's a legend in ring. It's how some people describe her. I'm saying some people because I have different opinion about Serena Deeb. But
give her a mouthpiece. We got a shot. We could talk.
If that, we'll talk off camera about that one day. You know, but just in general, this match was disappointing. It was the worst match of the night, and I hate to say that. AEW just needs to do better in the women's division. Personally, I was more excited about seeing Mariah May in the crowd while this match was going on than actually what was going on in the match. Also,
so was the crowd around her.
It was one match. I think it was less than 12 minutes. It was followed by immediately. You know, AEW does this thing where it's like, this is our 30 minutes of women stuff. It's like, because it's all one order, and I hate that.
It's all in the straight. Yeah, I hate. Right. I've been saying that for a month. It's always at the 9:30 time slot. It's been like that for now going on almost 2 years, and it's all in that one segment. That's your women's segment of the night. You could count on watching. You could tune on Dynamite if you're a women's wrestling fan. You could turn on Dynamite exactly at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, and you will get the women.
Right.
Every time.
Like, I was explaining to my dad, I was like, this is the only woman thing that they got going on. They have 2 women champions. You know what I'm saying? Like, we
had Mercedes in the beginning of the show with her highlight reel, which was just her, which I thought was
hilarious. That was hilarious.
Good, very good character.
I was like, she's only been here for like 6 months. That's
I know, and it's just everything for the last 6 months. I really wish they would just like I remember when they would main event the women, and I think from my count the last time, and someone could fact check me. Be my guest. I'm not afraid to be wrong. You've heard me say that. Like, hey, look, if you take it that deep, then I'm sorry. I'm not the podcast for you. I'm not the content for you. In my count, because I went there and I counted every main event of Dynamites and over everything. At the time in the 5 years, I think we were at 5 or 6 women's main events for Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't include Rampage and Collision and everything. That you're averaging 1 women's main event a year for the first 5 years. That's
for a company that has a stacked division too. That's the sad part. Like, you have a stacked division, and you just added more and more to that stacked division. And I know the injury bug really hit them hard, but it's one of those things where I'm just like sitting there. I'm just like, just do better. They could have got a better person instead of Serena. I think they should have got someone that was going to get a reaction, whether you want them to boo Britt or not, because she didn't give or nothing. Right. Honestly, if you're going to set up Willow, I think you should have had Willow fight Britt and Mariah do the DQ. She was out there 100%. Anyway. And you could have gave the girls more time to wrestle, still did the same segment to set up that match that you were doing in the backstage, and it all still would have worked. So just do better, AEW. Just do better. That's all I'm asking.
Booking, like Mark said, Britt's entrance was cool, but I think she lost a little bit of credibility with her match against Mercedes at All In. The momentum from her big return is gone. Yeah, booking like Mark. I agree. You nail it every time, man. And he has been nailing this Batman series where he is booking that. It is so cool. If you're a comic book, enjoyer like Nit Ram and myself, if you like, DC Comics, if you're a fan of Batman, go check this out. He just dropped the last episode last night at 2:22 a.m. talking Two-Face. So go check it out and see who he booked to be Two-Face when it comes to WWE. But yeah, he nailed it. Credibility's gone. We gotta figure something out. Maybe turn her heel. Maybe what's going on? Call up Rebel. Call up her old group. Maybe not hate her, obviously, but there's got to be some help here. There has to be.
It's got to be. It's got to be something, man. Bring back the wheelchair. I used to like that.
Why has AEW missed the mark with the ladies division lately? At first it was fire. Now it's bland. What happened? Here's the thing. This is my personal ideology, and Nit Ram, you can close on these thoughts, but you can't have it all. When you have a wrestling booker whether it's Tony Khan, Triple H, or Shawn Michaels. You're not going to get a cohesive division across the board. You can have a great world title division. You can have a great women's or mid-card division. You can have a great trios division. You can have a great tag team division. A division's going to get left out. And that's on the flip side for WWE. You got a great world title division. You've got a really good women's division on SmackDown. And the tag team division has fallen off. The mid-card titles are back to being relevant across both shows, but the tag titles across both shows fell off. Same thing I think is starting to happen again in AEW, where for a bit there, the mid-card titles were kind of Now it's the certain women's aspects are kind of back to and the trios division is back to Tag team division back ramping up now.
And, to add on to that, well, AEW kind of, like I said, they shot themselves in the foot. I've said this plenty of times. They did this thing where when they started up in 2019, their women's division was there. And everyone was, everyone was a new face to us. So there was no favoritism. So we watched Shida climb the ranks. We watched Rio win the first title. We watched these people that they made into stars.
Nyla Rose.
Britt Baker was, doing her thing with Jamie Hayter and all this kind of stuff. And then they did this thing, which I don't get it because it blows my mind every time, where they went through this phase where they would sign these top free agents, which they should. They would throw these top free agents immediately in the title match, have them win the title match, kill the last champion's momentum, never bring it back up, bring in someone new, have them win the title, kill that person's momentum, never bring them back up. And it was like a nonstop cycle of this because we've seen it like I think Toni Storm's really the only one that ever really bounced back from that kind of treatment. And she had to change her whole character. You know what I mean? So it's like Saraya's not doing anything. Don't forget, she was world champion. You know what I mean? Who else came in? Oh, they had a bunch of them that just they were just getting signed, coming in, immediately getting.
How about one of your favorites? Deonna Purrazzo
immediately came in. What happened to her? You know what I'm saying? So it's they do this thing where they bring in these women, and then they instantly, we're all excited for it. They instantly throw them in these title pictures. They either win or they don't, but they lose all their momentum right after. And they don't ever give us a reason to care about that. I love Shida, but I hate when I see Shida on TV every 3 months and they make it seem like she's still a big deal when she's not because you killed her momentum. There's no story to it. I love Nyla Rose, but Nyla Rose if I know she's on TV, she's there just to lose. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where you killed your own women's division slowly. And you're trying to resurrect it with the CEO. Right. And even then, she kind of got the same treatment everyone else did. You know what I mean? So it's when does it stop?
I don't know. That's a name right there. Deonna Purrazzo. That's a great match. Her and Britt Baker right there. That would have been great for tonight's 5-year anniversary match. Look, that's a Thunder Rosa. I mean, there's been a lot of stuff with Thunder Rosa, recently. I don't know if she's hurt or whatever the case may be. I'm not going to speculate because everyone wants to speculate with those kind of things, but that's a great name. Thunder Rosa, Deonna Purrazzo, Taya Valkyrie, her and Deonna are forming this group, but you haven't seen this group, these two show up on Dynamite. You've seen it on Rampage and Collision. It's it's I don't know. Tony, do better. Do better with the women.
That's all we're asking.
Private Party squashed the Iron Savages, but then they call out the Young Bucks. And if you know me, Ram, if you've seen the Nightcaps over the last couple of weeks, over the last couple of months with this whole Young Bucks title reign, people are like, who's going to dethrone them? And I've said, well, it'd be really good to come full circle and have Private Party do it. They called them out. Now we're setting up trio stuff, and we got this match next Tuesday or on Rampage or whatever. Do you think Private Party can dethrone the Young Bucks?
I think Private Party deserves it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, man, these 5 years flew by quick. And it took me a second to realize that from the original tag teams that were holding it down, they're the ones who have not gotten one shot.
They haven't gotten a shot.
Even the Lucha Brothers got a short shot with it. You know what I mean? They're the only ones. And I understand Mark had his pec injury. And then, God, they did this awful storyline with the Matt Hardy family and the Andrade stuff. And
I didn't hate it, but him doing the and humping the ground and shit. He's a comedy guy, but it didn't. I wanted this.
But I'm sitting here watching this, and you can blame Brandy Savage for ruining this for me. I'm sitting here watching, and I said the same thing. I was like, oh man, they deserve this. Like, that's good that the Bucks are going to put them over, because I already agreed. I think that they are going to be the ones to beat the Bucks. And whether they have a long reign or not, whatever, just get the titles off the Bucks at this point. They're the ones who should do it. Brendan just looks at me. He goes, all they did was say the same stuff that Xavier Woods pretty much said. But instead of 10 years, it's 5 years. And it's like, why are you doing that?
Yeah, what? Brandy. Damn, Brandy. But it's true, though. They never, they've been since that was a day one team. I remember, dude, I didn't have no podcast. There was no mouthing off with Mike. I was just a dude on wrestling Twitter. And I remember when they upset them Young Bucks on that episode of Dynamite, I lost my mind. The Twitterverse lost its mind. This was a talking point for weeks in pro wrestling. And then they killed the private party momentum. Injuries happen, blah, blah, blah. And it's like 5 years. You blink and it's like, whoa, they never held gold. Now it's time. It's time to right the wrongs.
I just want to point out real quick. I think it's hilarious that like AEW fans and haters were all like, when that first happened, they were just like, why would the Bucks do that to themselves? Why would they book themselves to lose? You're the biggest tag team. And now that they got the titles, everyone's like, why are the Bucks booking themselves as champion? They're like, it's like the full circle just is really just
speaking of full circle,
I mean,
right? Because everyone was like, oh, well, Cody's just going to book himself to be world champion. The Bucks are going to be this. Kenny's going to be this. And, Tony Khan's going to be the second coming of, the Mr. McMahon character. None of that happened. None of that happened. Cody immediately threw himself out of the title picture. The Young Bucks put themselves a little far removed, but they ended up getting the tag titles. Hangman was a world champion before Kenny Omega was a world champion.
No,
it was the other way around.
Hangman wins it off Kenny. The Bucks give him a nod.
That's right.
It's real beautiful. They give him a nod.
That's right. God, it's been 5 years. See what happens, dude? My brain gets a little scrambled.
My favorite wrestling program in the last 5 years.
I respect it, dude. I mean, NXT's up there for me. I would give a nod to Dynamite. I mean, there was a little stretch there where I was getting a little pissed at them, but we've made it to the main event here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Bryan Danielson going up against the world champion, going up against the Continental champion. The first 20 minutes was for the Continental Championship, and if you're confused about that, it's because the championship has a 20-minute time limit. It actually made sense continuity-wise. A hell of a match here to main event, the 50-year anniversary. Nitram, talk to the people.
I love Okada. Okada's this is true facts. There's an old episode of Four Sides of the Ring where everyone had bad mic quality, and we did our top 10 list. Actually, to make it even easier to find, it's the one that Zombie King took over. We did a top 10 list, and I think I put Okada at number 4 for me of all time.
Wow.
I love Okada. He is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And I'll sit on that. I'll die on this grave. People can hate his AEW run. I love it. This match was awesome. All the way until the pin. Dude, I hate a landslide pin. I hate that.
Really?
I hate that pin because it doesn't make sense. It makes sense if you do it in the beginning of the match and you win and it's a shock. But my dude was all energized. He just hit like 6 rainmakers on my boy. And you're going to tell me you got a quick landslide? He couldn't kick. I don't like it, man. I don't like it. Was just as bad as a finish as the main event on NXT.
Yeah, finish last night was spotty. This was a little spotty, but they did.
The segment, the segment after was great. So it's
this. Look, match was incredible. Listen, I really will ask AEW and Tony Khan and Bryan Danielson, please stop doing the fake neck injury spot where the doctor comes over and is checking him out. Like, please, like we know he needs neck surgery. We know he's got a bad neck. Like, stop scaring me. Like take the wrestling side of it out of it. I'm a human. He's a human. I'm like, dude, please stop doing this cry wolf thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it gets me a little, on edge. Yeah, this was exactly what you expected from these guys for the third match. Look, I think whoever was on the Foresight's Twitter said it best tonight. It's crazy to think that this was on free TV.
Facts. But
I think it was the founder.
One thing AEW does amazing. I always give them credit for this. And I actually have given Raw credit for this recently. Was making your main event shows, your main event matches, feel like pay-per-view matches. And Raw's been doing that recently, and I give them full credit for that. But AEW, I feel like really were like the people that were doing that. Like we were getting free TV pay-per-view matches, and I love that about this company. In the last 5 years, they've done so many of them. You know what I mean? a lot of them, for some reason, I think have Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson. So, you know what
And
I mean?
Hangman, yeah.
And
And
Hangman.
yeah, there's a few.
It's usually those big name pay-per-view people who should be on pay-per-views. You know what I mean? So it was just great. But like, I don't see why anybody would think that this match was not going to be great. Like, their first two matches were great. Bryan Danielson is probably going to go down as one of the greatest of all time. Okada is one of my greatest of all time.
Yeah.
And man, he's working the crowd so good, man.
Oh.
His smile just makes me so happy. Because it just makes me so happy.
I love when he flips everybody off, dude.
Like,
I love when he's flipping the bird, dude. Look, it's crazy because Wayne, the commish over here with Sideline Savants, he was on the Nightcap a few weeks ago, and he's not familiar with Okada New Japan. So all he knows about Okada, similar to like what you said about Ricochet, is this Okada. And he loves this Okada. And like for us who are like Okada snobs, where we're like, we don't like funny Okada. He's good, dude. He works it. He makes it work, dude. He's doing a hell of a job with a little bit of the comedy, and then he gets in the ring and he locks in, and you get a match like this on a Dynamite. Like 10 out of 10. This is a great main event. Like we said earlier, a memorable 50-year anniversary show. If 100%. Dynamite is 10 years, they hit that 10-year anniversary, we'll look back at this and they'll show it in the video package for that 10-year anniversary. 100%. But I got to ask you one final question here, Mr. Nitram, the man that makes him say, oh, damn, before you go ahead and plug what you got coming down the pipeline for 4 Sides of the Ring and 3-count trivia. We heard Excalibur say, who's pulling Mox's strings? Because we heard after the match, Mox saying he doesn't want to do this. It's not about him or Danielson. It's about this takeover. Someone is pulling his strings, it seems. So do you think that that's true? Who's pulling his strings? Who could it be?
I've been saying this for months, ever since they did this weird old rumor mill started. It's gonna be Shane McMahon.
That's what I think.
It's gonna be Shane McMahon. It's gotta be Shane. This is not your company anymore. That line to me, I was like, oh, okay, so this is where at first I thought Shane was gonna do the elite stuff, and I was like, all right. But I'm still 100% down. Shane is gonna be Shane Elite.
Shane Elite.
Mm-hmm. And
something you said on this show a while ago, and they ended up happening. Like same thing that happens to Torrin. It's like you say it and it happens. You spoke it into it. If he comes out, and this man's got Shane Elite as his name. I'm
Shane O'Mac, Shane Elite.
Oh my god, dude! I feel like Tony and them sickos would do it as Shane McMahon just to be like, and McMahon is all elite finally or something like. But I mean, then again, maybe not. Maybe Shane Elite is the move.
I don't know if right now you want to use the McMahon name right
That's
away.
That's very valid. That is very valid. I mean, I wouldn't want to. Yeah.
Going back, one of the reasons why I really do hope it's Shane. Same thing we said about MVP. He's one of the most creative minds there is. He has the mind for the business. He's great. And in ring, I don't care what anyone says. In ring, Shane McMahon is one really fucking good, man. He's really freaking good. I don't care what anyone says. He gives me more memories than a lot of people. He should be put up there with Jeff Hardy. That's how I feel about him. People love to be like, oh, Jeff Hardy jumped off crazy stuff. So does Shane McMahon. Give him his credit. Man got slammed through a glass 3 times.
Just for his father's approval. Let's talk, so you've seen the Vince doc, I'm sure, bits and pieces of it. Like you hear him saying, he's like, I did that for his approval. Like that guy, that's some trauma, man. That's, whew. Boogie Like Mark says he agrees with our thoughts on Okada. Someone could be a great in the ring and comedy. Look at Angle and Guerrero. Absolutely. Do you think the Bucks would go back to a wrestling row when Shane O'Mac shows up? I think they're gonna run. I think they're gonna run an invasion angle. Shane Elite says he owns AEW or takes over Ring of Honor, and that's how we get Ring of Honor on TV or something.
So I had this theory. The reason why they took Wheeler Yuta out the group is because he was never been in WWE. And I think Shane's only going to get these WWE, ex-WWE guys. And I think one of the reasons why they're attacking Bryan Danielson is because now he's all Mr. AEW, I'm the champion, but still doing his WWE stuff.
Okay. Now hear me out on that. I would agree to that, but I also feel like that goes against every fiber of Moxley's being, right?
Well, all right, but what if it's because, hear me out. All right. You're embracing the character that the company who shitted on us. You're embracing that here when we're supposed to get fresh starts.
Okay. Okay.
Pac, fresh start.
Fresh start.
Claudio, fresh start. Moxley, fresh start. Marina Shafir, I mean, I don't know what she did in WWE, but fresh start.
She was with the, with Shayna
with
and
Shayna, yeah.
Jesse and Duke, and they were going to be the new 4 horsewomen.
I believe she's Roddy's like wife or something like that.
She is Roddy's wife. Yep.
So, you know what I mean? But I feel like they're going to get all these ex-WWE guys who really redefine themselves. Because like Mox said, it's you think if it was up to me, I would have put you down a long time ago. You know what I mean? He was like, but before, Bryan Danielson wasn't yes, Bryan Danielson. He was doing his New Japan stuff. He was doing, his Ring of Honor stuff. He was doing, but all of a sudden now he got the title and he's yes. And I think that's the route they should go with that. I think it should straight up just be the fact that you're embracing a company that ruined us. And we don't like that because this is our company. This is not your company anymore, as in WWE. This is our company.
I love when you fantasy book on the show. Last comment here of the night. Could you imagine if Shane went to the middle of the ring and said, "Forget my father, I'm the sicko and I'm all elite"? I could see him swear. I could literally see him go into the middle of the ring and pull up and literally be like, you may know me as, this name, but from here on out, you'll know me as
Shane
Elite, or something silly along those lines. Nitram, tell the people about 3 Count Trivia if they've been living under a rock. Tell the people what they need to go follow. Tell the people what you got cooking, Mr. Man that makes them say, "Oh, damn," who also has me concerned for this year's 3 Count Trivia.
You're playing. Well, let's start off with this. Mike's and the president, Mike, are playing Booking Like a Mark and Rick 8-Bit first round.
Fuck.
Let's start with
those are my fact checkers. They fact check us weekly. I'm cooked. I'm so cooked. We're cooked. Mike's gonna carry us. Listen, no, I'm kidding. It's gonna be a hell of a fight. We're not gonna go down in a fight.
Last night you had the inaugural champions on your show.
I did.
And now you got the host to tell them that this season is already going to be way better than last season for three reasons. 1, 2 titles.
I love it.
2, actual trivia. I incorporated actual trivia this year. 3, the best one of it all the companies.
Oh,
I was very WWE heavy last season.
You were.
I think it wasn't fair for certain podcasters that watch more other stuff. So therefore, we incorporated TNA. I incorporated New Japan. I incorporated AEW. I have WWE. I even have one question, just one, about MLW. That's right. I incorporated stuff. And the reason why is because we're looking for the biggest wrestling knowledge fans. And that is that guy right there, Mike, pointing the wrong way.
I appreciate that. I love it, dude. Ladies and gentlemen, when does the debut? When we tell them?
First episode this Sunday. Marcus just told me today. First episode will be this Sunday. We have Black Masses and Constellations, who was on your show last night.
Nice.
And we have your boys from Boo Broadcasting.
Oh, boy, the Boom Boys. Oh, yeah. Man, I can't wait to watch. Hopefully the Boom Boys pulled it out for us.
It's a fun episode.
I can't wait.
And close score. That's all I'm saying. Fun episode, close score.
Going down to the wire. All right, folks. Nitram. Make sure you go subscribe. 4 Sides of the Ring here on YouTube. Go follow them on social media at 4, the number 4, Sides, OTR. And then Nitram, the man who makes them say, "Oh, damn." Where can they follow you, sir?
They can follow me at NITRAM_4SOTR. Once again, that's NITRAM_4SOTR. And that's me. I'm the one that makes them say, oh, damn, I'm Nit Ram, and I am the host that they will hate the most.
Oh, baby. And as he likes to say, he's also the host of Opinionated. And that's your time. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Nightcap. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you go subscribe to Four Sides of the Ring and tune in to episode 1 of 3 Count Trivia. We're out of here. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching the Nightcap.